Well, it's raining. It's been raining for the past 3 days. Boring as hell. Can't do anything outside. Oh, I finished my sprinkler setup on the other side of the house. There's the one on top of the roof, and, and I already tested it, and it works fairly well. I still gotta go up and adjust that Rainbird because it's not wetting as far as I wanted. What I did is I went up and twisted that little screw to go across to make it a splashy instead of a squirt, because I was afraid it's gonna wet the neighbor's windows. And now in the rain, I turn it on, and it does wet the vehicle and half the truck, the Blazer, half the truck, and a little bit of the brushes, but the bushes, I have to go up when it stops raining and it's dry, and bring it back a little bit and see how far it goes. I want to be able to wet all the brush on that side. So that project is done, because it did get me a little worried when I saw what happened up in the Palisades. And you just gotta be prepared, you know. That's what I did. I wanted to do that. And I've had this idea for years. I had this idea more than 20 years ago, even before I bought this house. My initial idea was to have a if you live in a let's say you live in a ranch area, that you could do this. You have a water tank, an elevated water tank with thousands of gallons, for your home use. And if you have a well with a windmill, it'll keep that tank full. And then there is a fire in the area. You turn on the sprinkler system, and you're feeding your sprinkler system with the tank. Because if you live in a ranchy area, you most likely are not going to have a hydrant on the street. It's almost not going to happen. So the fire department is going to come with their fire trucks and some water in those trucks, but it's not going to be enough to fight the fire, and they're going to be relying on the planes and helicopters. So yeah, I had that idea for a long time. Okay, I got here Macanudo Maduro. The last time I smoked this one, it wasn't really all that. It's got a good aroma, but I don't think I was 100% pleased with it. It's a little hard. I have to check on the humidor and add some more water. So we're going to smoke it, because what do you do when it's raining? Have coffee, smoke a cigar, or maybe have a drink. So, all right. That's not bad. So I'm going to have my double shot of espresso. I remember a long time, I'm talking 74, 1974, some kids are going, oh my God, that's in another century. 1974, I had some Peruvian roommates. The Peruvians are pretty cool. They're pretty cool people. I like them. And I had. Let me see. There were two, and there was one next door. The one next door, he was blonde, bluish eyes. He looked like a Viking. This guy. And so we'll go clubbing. We'll go to clubs and whatever. So one day, they used to call me. They used to call me Cuba. Cuba. I said, "Hey, Cuba, let me try some of that Cuban coffee." I said, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah." So we're at the Cuban restaurant, and I order a cup for him. Comes in a little shot. You seen him, a little cup like this. And this is a double. You get him more here. And he drank it, and then he tells me, "Cuba, I haven't slept in 2 days." Because then I used to that shot of caffeine. They drink coffee American style. That's the way they drink it. But I can drink this and go to bed, no problem. So man, it's coming down. Jesus Christ! I've been wanting to go to the boat and start taking the engine apart. I decided I'm going to do that, but not with this weather, and it's cold too. So what I have planned now, besides the boat, I already talked to a few mechanics, and I have a rough idea what's going to cost to work on the engine on the camper, because I want that thing running. I installed the new uh, knock sensors. Now check this out first. The truck just will go cook and nothing, right? I put the scanner. The scanner tells me knock sensors. So I went to AutoZone and bought new knock sensors. Put them in, nothing. It wouldn't turn over. And I'm going, what is it now? So I talked to a mechanic, and he says, I just worked on a car, on an SUV, that they just did the knock sensors, and the car wasn't running. And I told the guy, bring it over here. He changed the knock sensors. And I said, why you change them? They're brand new. He goes, they had to be dealer. Change them. It ran right away. The guy paid and left. So I'm going, are you kidding me? So what I did is I went to the dealer, and I went and I took out I bought new set of knock sensors, made in Mexico. I put them on, and the engine right away, it wanted to start. The reason it didn't start, because now there's a lifter that dropped. It's resting on the cam, and it's stuck. So, but at least I heard it going, trying to start. So now I'm looking at the knock sensors that I took off. They're from Japan. The ones that I bought from, let me see. Okay, these are the ones that I took off. They're made in Japan. They're under the truck. One is by the starter, and the other one is on the opposite side of the block. And they're made in Japan. And the numbers on the side, they're not the same. But this is what it came with the truck when I bought it, and it was running. So, all right. Now these are the ones I bought from Harbor Freight, which, by the way, I mean Harbor Freight, AutoZone. I'm going to return them. I got to find the receipt. And these are made they don't say they're made nowhere. Okay, this one's just Japan. Number 126 23730. This one says nothing where it was made. And it doesn't have the numbers that this one has. This is kind of from the same plastic material on the other one. This has a little stamp on the side and kind of a mustard color. And this is, they're smaller numbers. This is 2309465. And it says 189C, like Celsius. So I don't know what this is because it doesn't even have a number. It doesn't even say where it's made. So the ones that are made in Mexico and the numbers coincide, they're both the same numbers. The engine runs. These are the ones I took off, but that's what the truck had and it was running. Okay, but this here doesn't even have a name. Doesn't say where it's made. Nothing. It's got to be Chinese. Because the Chinese are copying everything. It'll copy your eyebrows and if you let them. So when the guy told me that it has to be a dealer item, I went right there to the dealer. And these things are not cheap. They're $30 a pop. So they're going back to the store. I don't understand why if it was running before and the scanner was telling me NOx sensors. So I'm trying to see if I can get this thing moving, you know. So then I also did the engine rotation. I took out the spark plugs, except one that is stuck. Didn't want to mess with that one. And I put my breaker bar with a socket in there, and I moved it back, and the engine started moving, and then it stopped, and then I moved it forward, and it stopped, and because it's stopping because the lifter, it's stuck there, and it doesn't let the cam rotate, so the engine can only move a few inches this way and a few inches. I would say it moves about a foot. 1 foot this way, 1 foot this way. So the engine is not frozen. That's what I thought it was because it wouldn't rotate when I would turn the engine, but it's not frozen. So at least I know the engine is not frozen. So I need to know all this stuff before I take it into a mechanic. I don't want to get a left curve and they're going to say, oh, the engine is frozen and it has this and it has that. I already know what the engine has because mechanics lie to you, especially somebody you don't know. I'm going to a different mechanic because we did a couple of things to this other new mechanic, and he wanted cash all the time. I said, don't you have the card? Oh, no, I don't have that. Oh. So we had a leak on the G. He took out the pan that it was leaking. He put a new silicone, cleaned it up, put it back in. And that cost $400, so we had to pay him $400. And then we took... Oh, it also has a leak on one of the valve covers, and it's dripping into the engine and it's smoking. Sometimes it drips, And he wanted another $400 for that, and it's always cash. And then I took the pickup. I took the Avalanche that I wanted to install the shock absorbers, and he wanted $80 a piece, and I said, I know a place that does it for $40 a piece. He goes, oh no, I can't do that. And it's also cash, and I'm going, this guy, he's honest, but man, he's expensive. And he wants cash. So I said, when I take the engine to do the engine, it's going to be over $2,000. Does he want cash too for that? I want to be able to pay with a card, pay it in payments, like any normal people. So I went to the other place, which is a tire place. They don't do any automotive things. And I took these shocks that have been sitting there for almost a year. And it turns out that the hole where the bolt goes it's too small. So the guy had to put everything back, the old air shocks that are not working. And I said, man, I'm sorry. I mean, what do I owe you because you've been working? He goes, no, no, just bring the right ones and I'll install them for you. And he does it for $40 a piece. So these, I don't know if I can return them because they've been here. And I think I found the receipt, but I don't know if they're gonna want them back. I'm gonna try. So when I went to Amazon, I bought them on Amazon. And I went to Amazon and I found the air shocks. They must be rebuilt because brand new they go for 450 a piece. Well, I found a set for 125, and I said, "Are you kidding?" So they gotta be rebuilt, which I don't care. And they're air, so it has the little air plug, and it's got the electrical sensor that tells the pump to pump or release or whatever it does. When the guy was taking out the air shock, he goes, you're gonna have a lot of bells and whistles going off on your dash. And I said, no, I'll pull the plug. Don't worry about that. But then when we found out that the bolt didn't fit because this is a 10 millimeter hole, my bolt on the shock is a 12 millimeter bolt. So I'm going, Jesus. So I went back online, started looking to see if there's a description, and it doesn't say anything about the size of the hole. If I buy another set of these, it's going to happen again. And I said, no. So I went and I said, okay, let me look at the air shock just to see what they are. And I found that set. There's another set for 110. There's another set for 175. Different stores. Amazon has different stores. So I said, I want to go with the one in the middle, 125, see what happens. And then I don't have to worry about the light going on the dash or anything. So these are going back. They're good shocks. I don't know if I want to put them on the Blazer. Maybe they'll fit on the Blazer. I could do that. That I'm gonna try to return them because I still got their box and everything. I got the receipt. Let's see what they say. They might give me a credit. So I'm gonna take the truck to another mechanic that I already went to them and I'm trying to feel him out. I'm trying to see what kind of person it is. If he's an honest person, if he's gonna give me some bull story. Um, because I also had a leak in my avalanche, and I said, you know what? Let me see what the leak is because it wasn't leaking before, right? All of a sudden, it's leaking. So I put it on my ramp. I foamed the engine and foamed on inside with underneath with the engine cleaner, and then later, 10, 15 minutes later, I hit it with the hose and cleaned it up, and then I drove it around for a little bit, a few minutes to warm up the engine and dry up the water, and then go under there and see where this leak is coming from. And it turns out it's coming from the filter. I went like this, and the filter is half loose, and I'm going. I just changed the oil about a year ago, and I said, wait a minute, these people didn't tighten up this thing. So I got my wrench, my filter wrench, put it in there and cranked it and tightened it really nice. And now it's tight, wiped it and stuff. And there's still a little leak that is coming now from the between the engine and the tranny, but the leak is so minute. It's gonna cost like $1,200. And I told my wife, you know what, for $1,200, we can buy a lot of cardboard, put it under there and let it drip in the cardboard, because we cleaned the driveway. Actually, she cleaned the driveway, and she did this trick that this guy in AutoZone told her. I said, get some dish soap, put it on the spot, brush it in, and leave it there for 24 hours. The next day you hit it with the hose and it cleans it up. And sure enough, we clean up all the spots, right? So now the little drip that's coming from the avalanche is minute. And I just add a little oil if it needs it on the tranny, or if it's the engine oil. I'm not sure which one is the one that's dripping, but it's between the tranny and the engine. So the guy said, it's $1,200. And he said, in cash. And I'm going, God damn, this guy does everything cash. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have to get on the mechanic because I can't be forking out cash constantly, all these repairs. When it's time to do the big repair on the old Blanco here, big Blanco, I want to be able to put it on my card. So I'm talking to another mechanic, you know. Then I found out about another machine shop that is closer to me instead of going to the one that I used to go, which is, by the way, it's a mess. And I'm kind of a I'm not saying I'm a neat freak or anything. I don't have the best organized garage. I clean it up once in a while. But if I see a shop that it's upside down, that gives me a bad feeling. So I want to go to the other shop that they told me about. I already got the address and everything. I'm gonna go down there and look into it, see how the shop is, and then get some prices about doing the heads for the boat. Because these guys are gonna send it to their own shop, and I'm gonna find out what shop are they using so I can go talk to them also. Because my idea about the truck is I want to buy all the new valves. It's going to cost me from the dealer. It's going to cost me, I think it's $800. They're $50 a piece at the dealer. I want to find out with these people, do they buy their parts from the dealer or do they go to a parts house that they buy their crap from China? I don't want Chinese nothing on the truck. This is an expedition. I go deep in the woods. I go far away. I'm planning on doing a trip to Passerly, Montana. And I don't want to get stuck or broken down because I got cheap Chinese parts in my truck. I want it to be legitimate. And now I'm guessing, I'm hoping actually, that the parts from the dealer are made here, not in China, because nowadays all these companies are trying to cut corners and save money and charge more so they can make more money. And who knows if it's coming from China, you know? But at least it's got some sort of a warranty, something goes wrong. Because all these repairs that the mechanics want to do, what I understand so far is that they only going to remove the damaged lifter and replace that. And I said, well, what if the engine is already taken apart? Let's put everything new in there. I don't know about the valves. If one valve is bad or bent or whatever, replace that. But the lifters are the ones that I want to replace everything to make sure I got a solid engine for another 100,000 miles. Right now, the engine's got 179, 180,000. So, and on the boat, I have to buy, and this is something that my boat mechanic told me. He says, you know what? I took the heads to the shop. They did the heads. I put them on, and the engine is smoking. And he said, this guy went and bought the cheapest O-rings for the valves, and he put them on the engine. He put automotive instead of marine. So now I got to buy, learning from his mistake, he's going to have to do the heads again. I'm going to buy the O-rings, the marine O-rings that go on the rods, that they seal better, and they're made for the marine engines, marine environment. So it won't start smoking, because the shop he took it to, they did a crappy job, and he doesn't recommend anybody. So it's kind of hard to find a shop that has a good reputation. And he did have one that he recommended to me, and the shop was also a mess. But the guy was supposed to be a genius. Well, guess what? He just passed away about a half a year ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So now the guy, the genius, is gone. So he sold. I don't know what the family did with the shop. They're selling it. I don't know what. So it's hard to find a shop that knows what they're doing. But it behooves you for you to know what you're doing. So when you take it to a shop, they're not going to pull your chain and lie to you like they do to a lot of women. Because mechanics take advantage of women. So, oh no, you got this and you got that, and and then they get clobbered with $1,500 bill. and all they did is change something for $50. You know, that happens. So I'm trying to the Chevys on the boat. That's not a big deal. I know that engine inside out. It's the same thing I got on the Blazer. I worked on the Blazer, taking it apart, transmission, everything. No problem there. But on these LS engines, that they're more delicate and they're more, tighter tolerances and everything, I need to know more about it. And I know that the cam has to come out. And yeah, maybe replace some of the valves and all the lifters, and then I will get a new head and drop it in there. I could do the heads, but you know what? It's you gotta bend over in there, and you putting a lot of pressure in your chest. And I hurt myself. It's already gone, but I had some pains on this side. I think I cracked a cartilage or something damaged, and it went away now. But just taking out the spark plug. So the heads are aluminum. That's one big plus. You loosen it up, and aluminum doesn't weigh nothing. You can probably pick up both heads because they're aluminum, but the ones in the boat, they're steel, and they're heavy, and they're like 45 pounds a pop. So I gotta deal with somebody that's gonna give me a break on the price. It's gonna be honest with the work. It's gonna install the parts that I'm gonna give him at the shop, not to keep that and put the cheap stuff in there. I mean, that's something that, how are you gonna verify that they did put the stuff that you put in? No, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. And if you know somebody for a long time, that's a plus. You give them the benefit of the doubt. Say, hey, listen, I want to make sure that, and if you know the person, you know he's honest, he's not going to screw you over, then you can sleep at night. But if you take it to a stranger and you don't know what the hell he's doing, if he's going to be swapping parts and give you the cheap parts because he's going to keep the better ones for his own engine or somebody else that's going to have a very expensive repair, and you're going to charge him more, and you're going to do, that's the world we live in, really. That's the world we live in. A long time ago, my old man had a car that had an issue electronically with something. I don't remember what wasn't working. And the mechanic insisted, well, leave the car here and pick it up later today. And he goes, well, I'm going to wait around. No, leave it here. Because he probably went like this and he just connected two wires that they were off. And he wanted to charge him for half a day's work for a simple repair. And he didn't want the guy to be a witness, to be sitting around and say, yeah, you got it fixed already. Oh, that happens. I knew a guy, a mechanic. He was a friend of ours. He would do our trucks. And he wanted to repair an engine, to rebuild an engine. He didn't even want to paint it. Actually, that was the Blazer engine. I remember now. He wanted to fix the engine, overhaul the engine. And the block was already hanging there empty with nothing in it. And I said, what about the block? He goes, what about it? I said, well, you're going to clean and paint it? He goes, no. I said, come on, you're going to rebuild the engine. So I had to go buy the cans of paint myself, clean the block, scraping whatever grease or whatever, clean it up really good, and then give it primer and paint it. I had to do that because for the price, he wasn't doing it. I mean, isn't it nice? And my friend, the mechanic, would do the same thing. He goes, no, we don't clean the engines. I mean, what for? I said, dude, you're rebuilding the engine. Isn't it nice when you pop the hood and you say, look, your truck is done, and look what I did, right? Do the stain and the varnish and whatever. It's the same thing. If I give you a job to do, I want the job completed. Not half done. Now on the engine, on the truck engine, I don't expect anybody to paint it because I'm not doing the block. I'm doing the heads. When I did the heads on the boat, that the water jackets were off, the exhausts were off, the tank was off, heads were off, everything was off. I painted everything and then put it back together. So that's the deal. Well, the Maduro's doing okay. It's not the float of the Antilles. The Antilles has a different flavor, more aromatic. It's a little lighter color. This one has better color to me, but the aroma it's kind of lacking. It's I don't understand because the darker the leaf, the stronger the aroma, but this one doesn't have it for some reason, and it's dark all the way through. But it drops good now that it's a little more softer. As far as the hunting, I know I said a video about not hunting anymore. I'm really changing my mind because I'm so used to going every year. But I am not going back to the forest where the big trees are because there's no point of going there. I don't know if I'm going to go to the wilderness again. I was looking at one of my old videos from 2 years ago and I said I'm never coming back here. But you know, I like that area so much and I know it so well. I want to try it again because one thing about that area that you can actually see the deer. But in the foresty area, are you kidding? You're not gonna see crap unless he's standing there in front of you, and the chances of that happening. Psst. Wyoming, Montana, some places in Idaho, some places in Colorado that you can see. You're standing on a hill. Like one time we went to Rifle, Colorado, very mountainous area. My cousin and two friends of mine, we went there with the Blazer, and we started climbing hills and stuff. And from the hill, across the road way down there, on the other hill, I could see deer. And I told my cousin, and I just saw it with plain eyes. And I said, "Look." He goes, "What?" He goes, "There's deer over there." He goes, "What do you mean there's deer? Can you see that?" He goes, "Yeah, I can see that." Look through your scope. He looked through the scope. He goes, "Yeah." So we went there. We couldn't make out exactly what they were, but when we got to the top, they were females. But at least you can see deer. Over here, you got a tree next to the other one in front of you, and don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. They're gonna hear you coming. They're gonna smell you 600 yards away. They got very good hearing. That's why they got those big ears. Don't waste your time hunting in an area that you can only see maybe 100 yards in front of you. It's a waste of money, the waste of your weekend, waste of gas and effort, and preparation and everything. You need to go to a place where it's open, that you can see and say, "Oh, look, that one's got a nice set of horns, and it's got a nice rack over there, and da da da." You can see another one over there, and not anymore. That area is so tight, so dense. I'm not going there anymore. I'm gonna tell my friend that's got the cabin. I said, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to visit you because I'm not gonna go up there just to say hi. It's a 6.5 hour drive. Nah, maybe in the summertime if we go there." And by the way, I need to buy tires for the truck. I cannot go anywhere with those tires. They're too small. I got two 45s. I need two 75. And I'm going to see if I can get me BF Goodrich or I think Goodyear has another. Goodyear's a little more money, but I'm going to spend about close to $1,000 on tires. They're about 250 a piece. Two 239 or I'll check with Costco and see what they have, or I'll check with American Tires or some other place. But can't let what had happened to me. I can't let it happen again. That I got stuck for 3 days. I don't know if you saw that video. I tried everything, man. I beat up myself picking up rocks. 100. Just think of 150 yards, picking up rocks from this dry stream, picking them up against your belly, getting dirty up and down, muddy, lifting the truck, forget it. Then now I got a better setup. I managed to put my high lift jack, it's 48 inches. I put it inside the compartment there. I made room. I got a plastic base that I already had that I bought when I bought that. It's in there. And then I have a Camelon. It's in there. And I have 18, I think either 18 or 20-inch metal stakes. And they're pointy. They're for construction. I picked it up at Home Depot. And I drill a hole and I put a steel carabiner, not the little aluminum crappy, the ones you bolt on, tight. So the plan, and I have an 8-pound sledgehammer with a 24-inch handle. I think it's 24-inch. And the plan is, if I do get stuck again, I'm gonna stretch out the Camelon cable to its full length. I also got straps, and I got rope. If I have to go further, drive the stake into the ground, leaning away from the truck. Click on the hook from the Camelon. Click it onto the hitch. Put the truck in gear, low gear. I got a little stick that I use for the accelerator. Put her against the seat. Push it against the accelerator so it's got some juice going, some power. And then start cranking it. When you finally pull it out of the hole and the truck starts rolling on its own, then you drop everything. You leave your door open, obviously. Of course, otherwise the truck is going to keep going. You run in and then you take control of the wheel and you keep pulling it out, and then you can stop, park, and pick up your gear. That it's in there already. And if and I might even go as far as, and then with the good tires, that they will grip something, because these are the worst tires I've ever seen for dirt. They don't grab anything. I mean, you got to see the video. It's a joke. I tried for 3 days to get out of that hole. Nothing. Because one, the tires are not good. Two, I didn't have all the tools. I left the high lift here. If I would have had it, I could have cranked up from the rear and lift the truck up 2 feet, put something under there, big, and then ram it out. Ooh, You have to have the right gear. Not here in the house. It's got to be with you in the vehicle. So I got that. And to avoid beating up the truck and doing that again, and I already messed up a side railing, and I had to fix that too. And this is not a trail truck; it's a camping truck to go far. You want to go to Arizona, New Mexico, whatever. Once you're there, you take your scouting vehicle, say a Jeep or Suzuki or a quad or whatever, side by side, and that's the one you take out to go scouting and hunting. If you're gonna, if I'm gonna keep doing that, I have to be with the right gear. I cannot beat up the only vehicle that's gonna bring me back. Because let's say that the Jeep or whatever breaks down, I can go hook it, pull it, bring it home with the main vehicle. But if the main vehicle breaks down, I won't be able to do anything with the other one, Jeep or Suzuki or whatever it is. So I have to protect that one. So I have to have the right size tire, because it gives me height, and it has to have better traction and better grooves, so it can grab whatever it is, mutters, or I don't want mutters. They're too noisy. But I have to have the right tires for the truck. So let's see if I'm gonna wait for 3 weeks, and then I'm gonna start preparing to move that truck to a mechanic. I gotta talk to some of the mechanics in the area. I found one, but he's too far. He says he gives me a good price, and then I started thinking, man, he's like 20 miles away. Am I gonna tow this thing all the way down there? So I kind of changed my mind about that. I don't want it to be that far. I wanted to go check on it once in a while, you know, when it's there, when it's at the shop. So there's a couple over here. They seem to be, you know, good reviews. I've been looking at the reviews too. There's one that has very good reviews. There's actually two. So we'll go from there. All right, guys, man, it's getting cold in here. I'm gonna have to quit it, and I'm gonna have to cut the cigar because I'm not gonna be able to smoke the whole thing. All right, guys, I will see you on the next one.